Hi. Every one of you that work with us, so Laura, you'd be the only one not. Okay, we provide all of you like with a buyer guide and a seller's guide. Okay, and we provide them because most teams don't have anything that they use, or they'll use like a folder that just has the papers shoved in it, and it's all about the presentation. It's like when we talked about Dress for Success. It's not just the way you look, but it's also your presentation piece. And how many of you in here are masters at your buyer presentation? Oh, that's right, you are masters of your scripts. So I guess buyer presentation would be like Real Estate 102, okay? How many use a buyer presentation book? What do you use?
We've created our own.
Created our own, okay. What do you use?
We created our own, but I think that you helped Will develop.
Right. Mm-hmm. What do you guys use? Wow. Oh, you get a hug. Oh.
See?
Yeah.
Not all bad.
Did I say she was even bad? Did anybody here hear me say or insinuate she was bad? Quite the contrary. Thanks, Art. Oh, wait. Okay. I'm going to use it, sorry. Okay. So this is, wow. Okay, not bad with you. The comprehensive very, okay. Well, first thing I would recommend, and I'm surprised Mark didn't do this because Mark is also extremely frugal. You can print them on both sides. It would cut the amount of paper in half. So
We'll make a note of that.
you just say, Mark, I had an epiphany at the boot camp. Why aren't we printing these on both sides? Boy, just think how much money I'm able to save the team.
A pound.
Well, only about 15 ounces. Okay. You guess. That's all you do is you guess.
61.9% numbers are made up, right?
That's exactly right. Well, I thought it was 38.6. Okay. But this is pretty much the book we give you. Now, we give you buyer and seller books, so we're only going to talk about the buyer books. We give you a book that is meant for a C personality. Okay? And her rainmaker is a flaming C, a CD. He is a flaming C and a flaming D. Yeah, Tiffany. You get around Mark and you shake. His energy is constant. It's awesome. I love it. Okay, so but they just took it. And what I love about the Gelmans is they are the most coachable clients I have, and I very rarely find agents that energize me. I'm speaking at an event in St. Louis. Mark and Neil were in the crowd, and Mark asked a question. As soon as that man opened his mouth, I said, "I'm coaching that man." I'd never met him before, and I went up to him after the event. And I said, introduced myself, and I said, "You're my next new client." He goes, "Well, I'm just meeting you for the first time." I said, "I don't care. Here, sign." Okay? Because he is the most coachable person. And he does everything pretty much, not quite to the letter of the law. His intentions are always good, but he allows the business to interrupt the implementation. This is a team that their biggest fear when they started with me, because I look at things from a 40,000-foot view, and I say, "Mark, Neil, you guys need to go out immediately and hire 4 buyer agents immediately." And they said, "Well, we just don't think we have enough leads." And so he was using an IVR system. So y'all know I developed the IVR system, okay, back in 1991. And I said to Mark and Neil, I said, "Don't worry." I said, "You will be leads are us within 30 days. So we revamped the presentation of how they were using their IVR system and how they were using Boomtown. And all of a sudden, do you get enough leads, Karen?
Oh my God.
How many buyer agents do you think you need to handle the number of leads you have?
We need 2 immediately, probably 3. I mean, it's like exponential between the Tiger, the Boom, and the ProQuest.
Right.
It's more than...
They got Boom, Tiger, and ProQuest. I know the boomers are going, "Oh, dump the Tiger." Okay. Don't waste your money there. I have quite a few clients that have both though. You know, the thing is they have really enough leads for probably 8 buyer agents. And the neat thing to hear Karen say that, we have enough leads for 2, 3. Most buyer agents get protective, like, oh, I don't want any other buyer agents on this team. You're going to cut into my lead volume.
No, we'll help. It'll become an energizing thing.
Absolutely.
It's like having, you know, Burger King and McDonald's right next to each other. When you see one, you always see another. There's definite, you know,
energy. That's it. So don't be threatened when your team starts growing, because that's the intent. But we give you this, and the intent is to take the buyer. We give it to you. It's customized with your name. It's already your name in it and everything. You know, we give it to you probably at about 90%. You know, but you as a rainmaker need to go in and put your own twist. We actually, if you see me at the end, we have your books on a flash drive that we've been working on since I got back from Lisa's. Okay, we made it your colors and things like that. Okay, so, but now then go through it, add your personality. You have other pieces maybe you want to add into the book. Save that, and then do a file save as, and then just rename the book Medium Buyer Book. Because this right here, it's too much. I mean, that's a lot of information. And so you go through and you just delete pages out of your master. Like in here, you probably still have the appealing properties. Notes on appealing properties. And, oh, here you go. Okay. Oh, like this, I would buyer's home wish list. Get out of there. Okay. Keep notes on appealing properties. Oh, come on, they write on the MLS sheet. Nobody ever uses this, so I would delete this page. And you get, this is about 45 pages. You get the medium book down to about 32. Good solid book. Save that book, bless you. And then call it then do a small buyer book. And you get it down from about 30 to about 18 pages. And then you do a file save as, and you do an open house book. And the open house book is 8 to 10 pages. It'll be the best thing that anybody gets at any open house. And so when you have the different pieces for different people, if I'm dealing with the C, I'm giving this book to Art.
Wait. Oh, it only has 45 pages in it.
Oh, I can read this sitting in the bathroom one time. Okay? No, but the C's like it. It's detailed. A D's going to look at it and go, oh, that looks nice. Okay, throw it down. The I's will like it because of the colors. You know, it's got pictures. Eyes like the pictures. Okay? So, but make your books and use them. This is your buyer presentation then. This becomes your buyer presentation. So, I am totally opposed to doing a buyer presentation on a computer or an iPad. I am opposed to it. Let me tell you why. Well, I think Sue Adler's comment yesterday, right? Because that's all she did was on a computer. And for her to call in, this is somebody who closed $73 million last year. For her to call and say, hey, I ditched the presentation on the computer like you said. I started liking people when I was sitting in front of them, okay? And she goes, I haven't missed a single listing yet. And she goes, wow, people like me. That's because she's looking them in the eye. So you got to trust it. I also do, like with my teams, and I encourage them to do it, but I don't know why people I coach don't. Like, I want to see a buyer presentation from you on video. I want you to videotape your buyer presentation. Just as I do the listing agents, I want the listing agents. Videotape it, send it to me on a flash drive. Because usually they're a little bit too long and too big, you know, to send through any Dropbox or anything like that. Have had not a lot of luck with Dropbox and video. You have any?
We've had good luck with it.
Yeah, good luck with the size of the files and everything?
You have to make sure you have enough purchase space.
Right, and we can see Aubrey about that later. Okay, thanks. Because if we can do that, we just, you upload it to our Dropbox. And then with me, with the team 3 listing partners on team send me their video presentation. So I Skype them, and on their screen, they're watching the video at the same time I am. We both started simultaneously. Each of the 3 listing presentations were 45 minutes long on video. I'm sorry, 35 minutes long. It took me 45 minutes to get through the first 6 minutes of their listing presentation. It would take me 45 minutes to get through the first 6 minutes of your buyer presentation. Because I break it down just like a coach does, frame by frame by frame. Going, number one, okay, can you like pull your tie up instead of having it hanging down? This one guy said 17 times like in the first 2 minutes. So when I'm stop, I'd say stop. Look, you just said again. And I'm like, okay, hit start. Okay, stop. You know, and he was using on an iPad, and the entire time he's sitting there doing the listing presentation with Jeff here, and he's doing this. Okay, so this, you know, he's talking about, oh yeah, this and this, okay? And then we get into, here's our mission statement, which is really cool. It's really about caring about people and really connecting relations. This is what he's saying as he's looking at the screen. I'm talking about caring. Why the heck don't I look him in the eyes? And he holds it below the desk on the side, so Jeff's looking down and I'm looking down. While the desk over here was cluttered with papers. So, you know, it's practice makes perfect. Have you practiced a buyer presentation, Karen?
Mark and I we've practiced a little bit. Mostly, I've been watching him. We haven't, it's not something that we've really gotten to. From my background doing buyer's reload, corporate reload, I have a presentation that I would do very, you know, informally.
Informally, as you are signing a legal document.
Yes. Well, formally. I'm saying I don't have it's not scripted, it's in my head.
For your head, it's a dream.
Right.
When it's on paper, it becomes reality.
Thus far, it has been successful, but I can see where this will new endeavor.
You may say it's successful, I'll say you're not successful. The reason being, it's about being able to do deals faster, short amount of time, and so you might think the only reason that she feels that it's good, it's faster, is because she knows it. She hasn't practiced another way. Too many buyer agents want to just be Pop-Tart. You want to come in, you want to slam the exclusive buyer agency in front of them, go over it briefly and say, let's go. If you would stop and spend more time up front with your buyer on the telephone before you meet with them, and when you're there, when you meet with the buyer at the same time, it should be just like a listing presentation. If a listing presentation is taking 30 to 60 minutes, that's how long your buyer presentation should take to go through the home buying process. Now, if Art has bought and sold 32 homes in his life, I'm going to say, Art, I know you have bought many homes, but you haven't bought one in the last 6 years. So don't worry, I'm not going to go through all of this with you. If I skip over something, please ask me to go back to it, okay?
Oh, great, Bob. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm showing Karen concern because he's bought a lot of houses in the past. And then when I'm saying that, I'm looking him in the eyes to, if I see him twinge a little bit or give me some signal that he does not want me to dust things over, I'll say, and again, you know what? I can go slower, okay?
But Bob, is this a legal document?
Oh, we'll get to that in the end, okay? That's when we get to agency. We're required by law, okay, to go over that with you.
You know, I'm a C personality, Bob, so I have to go slowly when it comes to the legal part of it. Is that okay with you?
You know what? I'll probably spend 10 minutes going through this book and probably 25 going through the exclusive buyer agency with you. See how I have to rephrase and I have to listen, okay? Because I usually will. If he's bought a lot of homes, I might only spend 10, 15 minutes because I'm giving this to him to go home, to read. But when I get to the agency, oh, it's even in there, buyers. Oh, do you have them sign this and then tear it out? Okay, excellent.
And the disclosure's in there too, it should be, unless I took it out. Okay, I probably had to pull it out of there for somebody.
For somebody else, just somebody I had to sell a house for, you know, whatever. It was one of the three I was in a hurry, you know, what can I say? But this is your buyer presentation. And you need to stop, sit down, and go through it with the person. And it's all about presentation. Where do you hold the buyer presentation, all right? If I was doing a buyer presentation, let's say in this room, the buyer would always be sitting with front facing the front. Because if he was facing the back, there are distractions back there. There's windows. I don't want, if a car drives by, everybody always goes. You want undivided attention from your buyer. You want them to only focus on you. Where do you do your buyer presentations, Amy?
Office conference room.
Office conference room. Does it have windows in it?
A door.
a door. They would sit with their back to the door. Okay? Because you don't want them being distracted if that door is opened. And if there's windows, they're back to the windows. I hate some of those rooms that are just glass all the way around. I would say put up a curtain. Because you want undivided attention.
I had this question yesterday. I wanted to ask today. It seems like the appropriate time. Based on geographics, like our office is in South Tampa, and if we get a Clearwater buyer, you know, are you requiring them to come into your South Tampa?
No. You go to the RE/MAX office that is in Clearwater, you call the owner there and say, I'd like to use your conference room. So I get paid the big bucks, you know. Yeah, if you're working with the franchise, okay, I mean, even though they may be owned by a different broker, different owner, you're still the same brand. I would not, if you're RE/MAX, I don't think a Keller Williams office is going to allow you to come in and use their conference room. They may.
Oh, not with us.
No.
I don't know that our RE/MAX offices would do it. They're pretty.
We interchange offices, all three of them, in all three different counties. We all meet in different ones. We're all good with that.
See, and again, do your prep work up front. Your team leader should be reaching out to these other owners, or the owner of your office should be reaching out, hey, if my agents need to use a conference room, what is your procedure? And most say, hey, just call the front desk, see what's available and reserve it. And that's how most are. Although Keller Williams would, or Lisa Burge and Associates would allow you to do it, because trust me, they're recruiting you. And that's why they want you in their office. It's our culture to recruit.
It's our culture to share and allow other agents to.
No, absolutely, yeah, mm-hmm. Oh, geez, the Kool-Aid's flying here. Unbelievable. Do you have a buyer presentation book, Marlene? Is it your stuff?
I do not.
Okay. You guys are you using yours?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not. We have it.
But you're not using it?
Use PowerPoint.
Christine. Oh, Christine Lee.
If you're not, to get Christine off of PowerPoint.
Christine is an amazing woman. She's too smart, too bright for real estate. Brilliant, brilliant. She had coached with us for a while, then she left. Yeah, and she's back. When she first started with us, the only person in my company that could handle her was me. But she didn't want to step to the plate with the big dog. So she went with another coach. The coach was great. Okay, Christine came back to work with me. I said, well, she goes, I want to start coaching with you, Bob. I said, well, let's talk about it, because I want to see if I even want you as a client. Number one, Christine, are you coachable? I said, Christine, you love to run a paperless office. That's contrary. Things shouldn't always be paperless, like your daily activity records. Paperless. No, I know, but she said, no, I'm only doing paperless. I said, okay, then you don't have to coach with me.
She came back to us and said, we're doing them on paper.
Yeah. Way to go. Give her a hand. Give Christine a hand. That is
Now,
good. That's good.
we have our buyer books that we give them as well. So they have that. They have the hard copy as well, but we do the presentation in front of them on a PowerPoint on our laptop or iPad.
Do you have it on that laptop? Oh, okay, great. Let's, why don't you come up here? Right over here. Oh, thank you. Okay. Wow.
What did I tell you?
What did she say?
She said, I hope Bob doesn't give me crap about my cleavage.
No, I'm totally humiliated. Do we have to do this in front of all of these people?
Oh, no, it's on camera.
I know, that too. Can we cut that section?
No.
That's sexual harassment.
And you know what? You're the one who's doing it.
Thank you. Yeah. Whoa. Yes, Anna.
Yes, Anna.
Next.
Okay. So we met. We're here.
Yes, thanks for looking me in the eyes. That's what we're all about, is looking in the eyes, correct? All right. Okay, so actually what I do is I would sit here.
Okay.
And here's my iPad. Isn't this great? Doesn't
Wow.
it make me look all technologically advanced?
Oh, it looked beautiful. I love the colors.
So shall I go through the presentation just as
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hi there. How are you today? I've already introduced myself. We've talked about
You already got me a cup of coffee.
Yes.
And
we
you know I
have.
love Einstein too.
Yes.
Excellent.
Right. And I know you like your coffee black. Okay, so the purpose of our meeting is so that this is going to be tough. Do I have to do this seriously? This whole presentation? Okay. The purpose of this meeting is
Deep breath, you can do it, Jennifer. You're a rock star. You are.
okay. There are 3 possible outcomes from the.
Would
from
you rather
this
be
meeting.
do it to me or to Christine?
Probably Christine, actually. She wrote this, so she loves it.
Yeah, well, of course you would. Now here's Christine just doesn't know it yet, but you know this is the first time I'm seeing this.
This presentation.
Yeah.
So
Who's
I
your team's coach?
Totally threw her under the bus.
Yeah, and now we're about to back up over her.
Okay.
See, because you know what? This is the respect piece. Okay? I would appreciate as your coach to be able to review the presentation prior to going live. I would have gone through this.
Oh, this
and
is
said-
the old one.
Okay, I haven't seen this one yet.
Oh, you haven't
Okay,
yet.
no. Okay. Although we're doing great on sales, aren't we, as a team? We're pumped up and
Oh,
firing
yeah,
on
we're
all
great.
cylinders, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, high five.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Yeah, damn. Okay. You know, it's just a respect thing because I'm sure the more it's not that I know it all. You know, it's like when we were talking yesterday about calling the agents and doing the whatever. It's just a different set of eyes, different mouth, and different ears. You know, they're going to help you to take something that's already great and make it better. That's it. Nobody in this room should ever feel that they know it all, because I don't. I mean, I have people who coach me. I mean, people I pay to coach me. Because because I have to keep sharpening my saw. And as I grow my business, you know, it's easy to start as a one-man show, but all of a sudden, you know, it's fine with 4 or 5, but then you get, last year we added 12 new team members. So I have to change my management style, don't I? Well, am I just going to do it through divine intervention? I don't think so. Okay? So, you know, I appreciate just being able to see it, to have some input, or even to pat Christine on the back and say, great job. Effort. I'm sorry. I want to congratulate the effort, not the job. Job is the end result. The effort is what you put into doing what you do. So I would say, Amy, I really appreciate your effort with those clients. And congratulations on getting the contract. See, now I'm talking to the soul of the person. The job is the end result. And it's just, where is it, Marlene? Small word. Great job, great effort. Effort is personal. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Hit it. Live.
All right. 3 possible outcomes from this meeting. First of all, you decide to hire me because I'm the right realtor for you. Secondly, you decide I may not be the right realtor for you, or perhaps I'll decide I'm not the right realtor for you. But at the end of this meeting, I'd like to have that decision made. Fair enough?
Okay.
All right, very good. Well, my goal as your realtor and your buyer specialist.
Slow down.
Okay.
You're making me nervous.
I am?
Yes.
Okay. My goal as your realtor and your buyer specialist would be to find the perfect house for you with the best price, with the fewest hassles and the desired time frame, something that works for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
My mission, again, you're supposed to be looking.
Well, you did. You're looking at me, which is great.
And I do
love the way you look at me.
make contact.
Then what
eye
is the
contact.
need for this? The only need for this is for her talking points.
True.
That's the only, which is, I'm okay with this.
Okay.
I'm okay with the way she's going. I personally would like the buyer, though, because you're going through this information. I'm listening to you, which is great, which is what you want, but I'm not even looking at this because of your eye contact, what you want. This
Right.
is why I would like this presentation to go home with the buyer.
And it does.
Okay.
It does. I
then
would give them a book because I tell them at the
You would
beginning.
give me this at the
I
beginning?
tell them, I said, you do not have to memorize everything I'm telling you because I am going to be giving this to you to take home.
Slow down. Am I the only one that thinks she's speaking fast?
Not at all, not at all.
Anna's going to art
Do
as
I talk
fast as I've
fast,
ever
really?
heard you
Do
talk.
I? Oh, okay.
I
Sorry.
do too, though.
Even
I do
even for a
too,
date,
so
it's too
I
fast.
just-
Well, I speak Spanish as well, so sometimes my
Oh, Espanol?
see.
Okay.
I'm not
Habla
going to do
español.
I'm not going to do the presentación.
Well, how about
en
you do the
español.
whole thing in Spanish?
I don't know that I could do that. I've never practiced it in Spanish before.
Ah, okay.
But maybe I should. I could reach out to new
Sprechen Sie
clientele.
Deutsch?
No.
Mm.
No.
Parlez-vous français?
No. Tampoco.
No, okay.
Okay.
The only words I know in those languages. Some of you go, God, Bob knows a lot of languages. Nah. Fake it till you make it. Go ahead.
Okay. So, bring it back down. And again, I am just using this as talking points, of course. But remember, you don't have to memorize this because you're going to take this handy.
Slow down.
Man. All right.
I want you, whenever anybody thinks she's speaking too fast, I want you to clap. Okay?
I really don't even know I'm doing it. Really?
All right, let's go.
Wow, okay. So, our mission as a team will be to guide you to make the best decisions when buying in today's market, help you achieve your goals and exceed your expectations. But at the end of the day, I'd love to have you enthusiastically referring me to your friends and family.
Yeah.
That's so unnatural for me to talk that slowly.
But he's listening.
Yeah, okay.
He's listening.
Okay, very good. So before we go any further, wow, this is cruel. Before we go any further,
We can stop and you will learn nothing.
No,
if you
I
prefer.
love it. I love it.
Then
I'm
don't
all
tell
for
me
it.
it's cruel again.
Oh, it's just tough. It's tough.
Don't tell me it's tough.
Okay, all right.
You either want to perfect it or be a.
Oh, no way. No loser for me. No. Okay.
Then listen to you. It's not me anymore. See, it's them.
No, I appreciate it, guys. I do.
There you go.
Okay.
Wasn't that nice to say, I appreciate that?
I do.
I mean, there are people who are sitting in this chair. Number one, some of you would never have the guts to come do this, correct?
Right.
Yeah, give her a hand on that.
Well, thank you, guys. I am proud of this. So, before we continue, I'd like to
See,
make
here's
sure.
what I love what she is doing. She looks to the screen, which causes the buyer to look to the screen. All she's getting is her talking point and looking back up. So as soon as I see her look at me, natural is to look at her. Beautifully done.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So before we continue, I would like to take a moment to make sure that you have my cell phone number and my office number programmed into your phone.
Okay.
Okay.
Isn't it on your card?
It is on my card. It's also in this book, but just in
How
case.
do you program it?
Well, if you want to give me your phone, I'll do
Okay,
it for
there
you.
you go.
Tuck, 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 tuck. There you go.
Oh, that was like, that was too fast.
That's how quick I can program your phone.
Oh, okay.
All right, very good. Moving right along. So, what I'd like to do is explain to you how I'm different as a buyer's agent versus another agent you might call off of a sign or just any other agent you might run into on the street.
Okay.
All right. I am a specialist, which means I work
Thank you.
I am a specialist, which means
Oh, man. Okay. Probably would have already taken like 5 breaths by now, but.
Breathe. Stop. Take a deep breath right now. Cleanse the soul. Slowly, slowly. When you feel yourself getting tensed like that, deliberate. There's a great book I want you to read. Stand Like Lincoln, Speak Like Churchill. Okay, stand like Lincoln, speak like Churchill.
Somebody text that to me. Thank you.
Text it to this young crowd. Text it.
He called me young. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. Shall I?
Please.
I am a buyer specialist, which means that 100% of my clients are buyers. So I don't work with sellers. I have a whole other side of my team that works specifically with our sellers. That means I can be 100% committed to you and your buying
What is she
needs.
not doing, though?
Talking about what you want?
Answer, ask, acknowledge, ask.
No, I don't ask anything through this.
See, there's no interaction with your buyer. All I'm sitting here with duct tape on my mouth. I don't need to speak.
Well, before I even
I am
get
a
to
buyer
this,
specialist. Do you understand what that means?
okay, good
No,
point.
because they don't. Well, and this is the power. You see, I'm a buyer specialist. Do you happen to know what that means?
No.
No? Let me explain. See, as a buyer specialist, I get to specialize in working with people just like you. People who want to buy a home. I have a whole nother side of my team that deals with the sellers. So this way, I can devote all of my attention to your wants and needs. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Now, the other type of agent is a seller's agent. Let me backtrack. As a buyer agent, I get to represent your best interest in the home buying process. And I'm sure that's what you're looking for, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's why I choose to be a buyer. See, I wish and you'll see this on camera. When I asked that question, the peace and joy that came over her face, I knew I had her right there. I knew that getting her to sign buyer agency was not really going to be an issue. because of her facial expression. See, when you're doing it with me, all you're doing is talking and you're not being able to read my body language. Make sense? Also, your dang iPad just keeps going to sleep all the time.
Well, normally we don't stop like that because I don't ask questions. Good point.
Somebody write that down for her. Ask questions. Thank you.
Through the presentation, I don't. I should make a point of that. I will in a couple of minutes. I have a couple questions I ask, but I do go a long time.
You're losing it at hello, though. Does that make sense? All right, thank you. Give her a hand. That was excellent. See, but what you said at the end, oh, am I done? I mean, I take that as a negative.
No. I would have loved to have finished with it.
Yeah, but I was getting too tired of being spoken at. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Art?
The presentation, the scripting part is fabulous. Build the questions right into it. Then, as you keep practicing and practicing, time yourself and keep challenging yourself to increase the time of the presentation. That'll tell you that you're slowing it down.
Good idea.
Then,
Excellent.
when you've got that
You
component,
need to borrow this pen to start taking notes what Art is telling you.
and call me. When you've got that component done, get rid of the iPad because you will have internalized it and you'll be able to verbalize it. Constantly looking at the person and asking the questions at the right time and allowing for the human internet interaction to take place. Well done. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Very good. You know, and it takes guts to come up here. You know, she'd probably be much better just if it was just her and I. Okay, that would still intimidate her a little bit, or even with Christine, her team leader. But to do it in front of her peers, that takes guts. That's where Stacy, that's like Stacy saying, let Bob sit next to me. And that's huge. Yes?
I just wanted to thank you for that because that was extremely effective for me, especially being on Andrew's team because he's very techie. And we've talked about the iPad and even his buyer presentations, and I know he mentioned that you had advised not to do that. And I've thought about doing something with my buyers and with the iPad, but I never really, until we just did that, could really get outside of my side and see the buyer side, and you were just sitting there like, I don't know what to do. I'm being talked at. I feel like I'm in school. I felt like I was at a class. And there was no interaction, and I can see where it's like somebody else's iPad and you don't want to touch it, you don't really want to look at it, it doesn't feel like theirs, but if you hand them something, it would feel more like now I'm in control as a buyer and I'm open more to.
You know, and also you got to know your audience too. If you're doing the under 35 crowd, they'll accept technology. And there are a lot of under 35 buying a house. As long as, you know, to me, if I'm going to get the exact same thing in a hard copy, I'd rather sit this down in front of the buyer and just go through it with them. You know, I can still look at it and here, look at, oh, this is my favorite part. Okay, and you have something because now they're seeing, touching, feeling, and when they take this home after the presentation, they own this because they saw it, they touched it, they felt it with you. If you give them your presentation from the iPad to take home and they've never opened this book with you, they will most likely never open the book. And your books are filled with powerful information. Karen?
I would just mention, I notice like when I'm doing a presentation with a couple, lots of times one of them will pick up the book and be leafing through it while I'm talking. It creates an intimacy, and they'll look at it and they might have a question that they get out of it, and then that makes all of us talk about the question and we can refer to it, and then we'll go back to my presentation. I don't know, I just find people like to have something to touch themselves. It makes them feel secure. I think it's like you were talking about, just watching that iPad, you know, flipping past you. You didn't want to touch it kind of thing.
Well, do you want them to read along with you?
Well, not necessarily. See, I would not have two books. I would only have one book, and it would be, you know, the book they're going to take. That's why you should, like, you know your presentation extremely well. Learn the presentation on paper. It'd be interesting to see Jennifer take that presentation from the iPad, print it out, and see how well she did if she had to flip through paper. And again, I would love nothing more than to be paperless. What do our clients, go listen. Sue Adler also started a company called Hear It Direct, which is a consumer panel. She's going around the United States interviewing buyers and sellers, and then holding small conferences and finding out what do consumers want. And this is what's beautiful. Like I helped Sue put this together and how it should really work and everything. And I love when your clients go out and do this stuff, because then you get to throw it back in their face. I said to her when I was talking about her presentation in Techie, I said, Sue, let's go back to the seller's panel that you did. You see, now I'm bringing it to her. What did the sellers say? They loved you to be on the internet, but that, where it didn't work with the realtor didn't look them in the eyes. They were too techie. You got to find the fine balance. When you look at sellers, most sellers are over the age of 35. A lot more than under 35. So in the buying, you do get a lot of the under 35. They're okay with tech, and tech is okay, but used for certain things, not the whole presentation. That was one of the finest presentations I've ever seen, though, using an iPad. And I don't give them a compliment, so. Okay. I mean that. I could show you the flash drive after flash drive. Agents, all they did was look at the monitor. You know your material. You need to learn your new presentation as good as you know your old one.
I will.
Okay. I'm going to, yes, Jesse.
What about, we're getting ready to start practicing a new one that uses technology, but they also have their book where they fill in blanks as we go through. Comes on the screen, okay, houses are selling for 96% of asking price. Write that down. Now, could we then, if they're over 35, just do our side on paper and still have them fill in the blanks? Would that be
Yep,
good?
you can still do that. What are your thoughts about, I have mixed emotions. Thoughts on having the buyers following along and they're filling in a blank. Anna?
I think it has to do with your marketplace. I know for me, I would feel like I'm back in school and I just wouldn't do it at all. I want to get on with my life. Then I become a D if you're wasting my time. I really do. So for me, that would be the issue. But in your marketplace, if there are people who are more C and take the time to be slow and think, maybe that's a good thing. But you really have to look around you.
Okay, other thoughts about that?
I think it feels like elementary school.
Elementary school?
It almost feels like you're kind of insulting a little bit.
I think they just chewed that one up and spit that out. What do you think, Jesse? Okay, and now what you want to do is you want to take the feedback back, and I think that's if you're doing things on your team, even Boomtown, if you want to know how to do something better, ask the crowd, what is their opinion? Get multiple opinions. So what are the things that are going on in your team that you're not sure of? Is there anything else? Like, that was a great question. Think of the feedback. You can go back and give Josh, his Rainmaker. And as he was talking about filling in the blanks, if you look at his face, it seemed like it was something Jesse was very proud of doing, having him fill in the blanks, right? Yeah. And you guys all just shot that one to heck. But it's feedback. They may continue to do it, but they may monitor it a little differently. What other things are going on when it comes to your buyer presentation? On buyer presentation, the most powerful close to get the exclusive agency signed. Okay? When you do your buyer presentation, you should always have a copy, a sample copy of a listing agreement with you. Yeah, a listing agreement. I said the right thing. Have a sample of a listing agreement with you. Because when you're describing agency, you get into, you say, oh, here in the state of Illinois, we have 3 types of agencies, Jesse. Okay, the first type of agency is seller agency. And that is the relationship that the seller has with the agent that is representing their best interest. Here is an example of a listing agreement that the seller signs with their agent. This says that that agent cannot disclose confidential information about the seller. They have a fiduciary responsibility to protect the transaction and not share information with me, a buyer specialist. The second type of agency is buyer agency. And here is the exclusive buyer agency form. Now this, like the listing agreement here. This says I have a fiduciary responsibility to you, the buyer, to not disclose confidential information about you to the listing agent. Excuse me. And I'm sure you're looking for somebody to represent your best interest, right? Now, do you see the close when you show the listing agreement and the buyer agreement? Why would you have difficulty getting anybody to sign? Because in most buyers, they go, oh, that makes sense, listing agreement. And also, you use the laws in your state. Here in this, you notice I said the state of Illinois. We have three. It's not ABC Real Estate. It's not Keller Williams RE/MAX. It's the state law. And we are required by law to describe agency to you. And I love the one when you'll usually get a buyer to say, well, you're the first agent that's ever done that. I am so sorry, Jesse. But it is the law. And if I don't do it, I could lose my real estate license. So I just hope those other agents, start following the law.
I had that happen last week. It was my old broker.
Speak up.
I said I had that happen last week. And it was my old broker that had been showing him houses, and he'd never explained agency to him. And they had an appointment with him that night, and they signed a buyer's agency with me.
With you. Stole them from his old broker. Hoorah! Seek and destroy. Excellent, Jesse. Yes,
Can you take that one step further in a script to the transaction broker?
Yes, that would be the third type.
Okay.
Okay, and again, I'm not going to go into describing it because the laws are different in every single state. But generally, in transaction brokerage, as a general term, you're selling. In most states, if you're selling your brokerage's listing, it is considered, you would be considered a transaction broker. But some are just the agent also, some states. Some, if it's just Andrew's listing, that would be considered dual or transaction.
Right, understood. And I think the confusion for me is they have our office buyer disclosure form that we're always working as a transaction broker, which we're not always working as
What do you guys do, Jennifer?
What was that? I was writing about.
Buyer agency, use exclusive buyer?
No, we do loyalty agreement.
Oh, that's right. Christine wigs out, wimps out, I should say. Oh, we do a loyalty agreement. We don't want to use the state mandated.
So you wouldn't be limited consensual?
It depends on your state, because a lot of states don't have limited. Okay? Jesse was first.
In our state, they either have to sign yes or no that they will allow you to convert to transaction brokerage. So you're saying at the beginning, have them sign no. Then
No, I always want them to sign yes. Okay. At any time. I always want them to agree to it. Okay. So that's why I'm saying know your state law. I don't want to be up here and tell you what to do. I don't know your state law. I'd be an irresponsible consultant.
mentally, I have a hard time explaining to them that I want to be your advocate, but then at the same time, if I show you one of my listings,
you need to, don't be, see, here's where most agents fall into a trap when it comes to transaction or dual agency. You get too legal in your explanation. You explain transaction or dual the same way you do seller or buyer. You don't get legal when you're describing seller and buyer, do you? Why do you get legal when you all of a sudden hear, oop, legal, oop, 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 doing something bad? You just say, if we're going to go in and look at one of our team listings, okay, this is transaction brokerage form. This is you giving me consent to do that, and let me tell you how it works. And you explain it. And in most states, it's just, you can't give, you cannot tell them what price to offer on a home. Okay, so an easy thing is to say, the listing agent, okay, Andrew and I, we rise above the transaction. And we act as mediators between the buyer and the seller. Again, you have to know your law, what you can and cannot say. We will simply, I will pull up homes, comparable properties when you want to buy a home. I will show you what they have sold for, and you're going to tell me what you want to offer for it. Like you would anyway, right, Jesse? And the buyer is going to go, yes. What difficulty is when the buyer says, Jesse, what do you think I should offer? Because usually in a lot of areas in dual or transaction, you cannot tell them what to offer. See, it is assumed that you have confidential information about that seller. That's why in some of you have, you have your whiteboards with your solds on it. You guys have whiteboards with your solds on it?
Under contract.
Under contracts, you have whiteboards? Yeah. See, what I've instructed Andrew, if you have whiteboards with your under contracts on it, if you have a listing up there, do not put the sales price. Do not put the sales price if it's one of your listings, if it's under contract. Why?
Then we know what it falls under.
You know what that seller sold the house for. So if you look and you have a $300,000 house and you see the seller accepted $225,000, you're going, God, they stole that house. Then the deal falls out. You're on the phone with your buyer. Hey, I know they accepted an offer at $225,000. So you're really violating the law there. That's why if you have under contracts boards, erase the sale price of your listings. Because I told Andrew about that already. They're there still? Do me a favor, why don't you text Andrew?
I think I don't know for sure. I know there's a number there. I don't know if it's the listing price or the selling price.
So Andrew, Bob wants to know. On our whiteboard, on our listings that are on the under contract board, do we have the sale price on there?
Do I have Andrew's number?
So you're saying the listing price is okay, not the contract
price?
Correct.
Listing price is fine, not the contract price.
I don't think that's
the big thing on transaction brokers, my point is, don't belabor the point on it. Don't make it sound like it's something dirty. And that's what too many agents do. Suggest you just simply got to role play it to where it's comfortable. Role play it, put it on a flash drive, I'll review it for you. See, Jennifer, wasn't it helpful when everybody here is telling it wasn't just me you're speaking too fast?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. How about you guys? When are you going to videotape your Breyer presentations?
When I get a script memorized.
When I get a script. Is that smart?
No.
Thank you. Sally.
I was just going to ask you for either a script or maybe if you could post to YouTube something we could watch and...
Watch for what?
A successful buyer presentation. I've never seen one.
You've never seen one?
I tried to role play one. Oh no! Well, I did role play one once, but it didn't go very well because I was kind of making it up and basically reading.
Well, and that's the thing is a lot of rainmakers, a lot of rainmakers don't even do listing presentations. You got to remember, some of the rainmakers, when they walk in, if your rainmaker is selling over 200 homes, they're pretty much a celebrity, in the market. If Lisa shows up to do a listing presentation, it's like, oh my gosh, the queen arrived. I can't believe you're here, Lisa. And trust me, she's probably in and out of that house in 15 minutes, and the only thing she goes over is, here, sign. Because they're shocked. But you're like Blake. The tough thing in your market is you have a lot of out-of-state owners. So a lot of them don't know Blake. However, Blake does a tremendous amount of business.
He hasn't taken a buyer for years. I mean, he's had buyer's agents for so long that, this book we're using now, I doubt he's ever done a buyer presentation with it. So he did recommend that I get with other buyer agents. But
what I would recommend, Sally, first thing is to sit and, we can do, and it only works if people are using the same type of system. So I can't get on, like a conference call and do a buyer, I could do it in a call center and do a conference call, right? If you're all using the same book. But I can't do a buyer presentation if Jennifer has a different one that I'm teaching, then it doesn't make sense, correct? So if anybody, yes, Kevin?
If anybody's using the book, I have a recording of you doing a buyer presentation.
Oh, you already do?
Yes.
Wow, there. Wow, I know I'm that good. Wow. You know what's interesting is over the 22 years of doing this, I get great premonitions that go on, and I think, I ought to record this. And so I'll say, all right, Catherine, come on, let's do it. Let's record it. And sometimes I don't know why I'm doing it. I couldn't even remember I recorded it. So, Sally, yeah, yes, I do, actually. So if anybody would like, we'll just send that out to all of you. How's that? Yes. All right. That's the easiest way. Take your time, please, to prepare your buyer presentation. This right here, know your scripts. It's all about scripting, isn't it? Turn the script into your dialogue. If you use the book, this is your presentation. You just go through. Do not do your presentation with a 45-page book, though, please. It should be your medium book. And see, some of it, what I would get out of there would be, Here are some parting words from our past clients. That's what I call a standing ovation on paper. Okay, I like that title for it better. Oh, some more parting words. All right, here, gloss. In my medium book, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of glossary and terms. Delete it. You don't need it. Q&A. I got how many pages of Q&A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 pages of Q&A. Delete it. So there's 12 pages. I've already got this thing down to 33 pages. And make it double-sided. Once you get to that book, this becomes your presentation book. Just keep going over it, over and over and over. Okay? All right, moving on from presentations. Aubrey's going, wow, you're right on schedule, Bob. Oh, small, I went through that. I didn't even click. Aubrey goes, you know, Bob, you're just doing the slides all by memory? Okay. Okay, 5 steps to creating buyer urgency. Buyer presentations, 30, 45 minutes long. It's highly effective and established. That's when you establish agency. Make sure before they come in to meet with you, they have been approved by your lender. Always, when you're prospecting, you want to set up the appointment as quickly as possible for you to get face-to-face. It is your lender's responsibility to get them approved for the mortgage before they get into your office. And your lender should communicate that with you. So I would call up and say, Amy's my lender. Amy, I got Adam over here. He wants to buy a house. I have an appointment with him at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I need to get him approved by 3. Can you get it done?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. You're going to call him now?
Yes. Can I get this phone number?
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would have said no, but however. Okay. All right. What I need you to do is, as soon as it's you've approved him, please email me and let me know how much he is approved and if there are any stipulations to the approval, okay?
Okay.
Well, key thing is I said, please email me. I don't want my lender wasting my time because he's most likely going to get, or she's going to get my voicemail. You see how I put it? Can you call him now? So she's doing it now, and I should get an email from her. So I should have an email from you probably before 1 o'clock then, I'll assume, right?
Correct.
Excellent. See my deadline, my time deadline. Now, she emails me, Bob, Adam can't buy a house. You know, his FICO score is only 480. He only has about $5,000 to put down on a new home. He's going to need to, get more money, raise his score. So now when your lender emails you and says he can't buy a house, I have an appointment at 3 o'clock with Adam. As soon as I get the email from the lender, I call Adam. Say the lender rejected him. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Adam. Bob at ABC Real Estate. How you doing?
Well, how about yourself?
I'm doing excellent. Hey, I know we have an appointment at 3 o'clock. I just wanted to check in with you. Were you able to talk to Amy about the mortgage?
Yes, I was.
And how did that go for you?
Not well.
Really? Why?
I wasn't approved.
Oh, how come? You see my answer, ask, acknowledge, ask? One word. Oh, how come? What happened?
I have no idea. My credit score I thought was impeccable.
Really? What was your credit score when she ran it?
480.
Wow. Okay, and did you tell her you thought it was impeccable?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and did she put you on any type of plan or tell you what to do to help you get it improved?
Yes, she did.
She did. What did she ask you to do? I see. Now I'm getting to care and concern. Well, you know, I'm really glad we decided to get your approved for the mortgage before we got together because, boy, there's really no sense in getting together because I'm sure you would just be disappointed looking at homes knowing you couldn't buy, right?
Absolutely.
Well, let me do this for you, Adam. We have a program designed specifically for people like you. It's called our Market Watch system.
People like me?
Yeah, bad credit. Okay? For clients like you. Thank you. That felt bad. You're right. For clients like you that don't want to buy right now or can't buy right now, I'm going to email you properties that come on the market that kind of fit your criteria. And so when we are ready to go out and buy a home, you're going to know exactly where you want to live and how much those houses cost. How does that sound to you?
Sounds fair.
Awesome. What's the best email address to email these to you? Boom, boom, boom. You see, I'm calling and see how I just canceled my appointment? Always set the appointment. If they can't get approved, don't call up and say, hey, Adam, I hear you had a 480 credit score.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, well, power, baby. You're batting almost 500. Hang in there. Hold on, yes?
I was just going to say, could we continue the roll call if they were continuing saying, well, remember that house I called you in on? I mean, I was really interested in that house. I'd really like to see it.
There is zero chance. There are zero chance I am taking her out to see that house.
Exactly.
Okay, go ahead, push it.
I
hate people who challenge me.
No, I just want to hear what you have, what you would say.
All right, go ahead.
Not challenging. The house I called you in on, though, I was really interested in seeing that house.
Yeah, but you know, and I'd love, Becky, I would absolutely love to take you to see that home. However, the seller is required that only people who have been approved for a mortgage, come into the house. I'm sure you can understand that if you were selling a house as well, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if the listing agent has a virtual tour on that home for you, okay? And I'll get that over to you if she has one, okay?
Good idea.
Excellent. Well, and I'll put you in our market watch, like I said. And if you see any homes that you have questions, don't hesitate to give me a buzz, okay?
Perfect. That was a pearl for me.
That was Pearl. Amen. Give Bob a pearl. Yes. Yes.
Do you say, if they say they've been approved with someone that you don't have a relation, like not your lender?
Excellent. And they give you an approval letter. Most will say no. I was like, great, and who's that lender? Hey, did they give you an approval letter?
No.
No? Okay, why don't you give me their phone number, okay, because I'm going to need that approval letter before we can go out and look at homes, number one. Now, number two, I would, Karen, recommend that you talk with Dottie over here, okay? Dottie is the top lender in the area, and all I'd ask you to do is compare the terms and conditions that your lender gave to what Dottie can give you, because I am so confident that Dottie can give you better terms and conditions that she'll pay you $50 if she can. Okay?
Sounds great.
You got a pen and paper handy?
Yes, I do.
Let me give you Dottie's phone number. I'll also give your phone number to her. And just let's see what we can compare, okay?
Okay.
Excellent.
Sounds great.
Dottie, I got Karen over here. She's already approved with ABC Real Estate. I told you to pay her $50 if you couldn't give her better terms and conditions. You know that $1.20 for copy fees you have on your HUD? Can you get those waived?
Sure.
Excellent. Better terms. I didn't say better interest rate, did I? There'd be more than $1.20. But there are things, and all your preferred lender wants is an at-bat. That's all they want. And if you don't know this lender, you're walking on a limb. You as a buyer agent are not authorized, in my opinion, better be in all your Rainmaker's opinion, you're not authorized to use any buyer agent you choose. You're only authorized to use lenders that are approved by the team. Understood? Understood? Darla? Okay, as a team, if Charlotte says these are approved lenders, you can't use anybody you please. They have to be approved by Charlotte. That's how it should work. And the thing is, especially a lot of our clients are getting into joint marketing agreements with lenders who are helping us generate leads. And if a lender or a home inspector or somebody, okay, I'm not saying we can't use people. So if you have a lender that you like that doesn't even know your Rainmaker, introduce your lender to your Rainmaker. Because we want a good fold of lenders to be able to refer to our clients. Because some are good, with A paper, some are good with B paper, things like that. But your Rainmaker has the right, because they're looking out for the client's best interest here. It has nothing to do really about a joint marketing agreement. It has to do what's best for the clients. Make sense? They're not approved for a mortgage, you're totally wasting your time. If someone says I got approved 3 months ago, thanks for playing. The rules change.
If they're a cash buyer?
You're paying cash. That is fantastic. Jennifer, what I will need from your bank is, they have a letter called proof of funds. Okay, so if you can please call your bank, have them email over to me the proof of funds letter. That way when I do present your offer, we won't delay you getting this offer accepted waiting for that, okay?
Do you recommend having the proof of funds at the appointment?
Yes.
The initial appointment, have them bring it.
Absolutely.
Will you show property without it?
You know, again, 60% of the time, no. 40%, again, I still do a lot of my gut. If that client I feel, been very open, honest, and flowing with information, and you can't get a hold of your personal banker, things like that, I will say, you know what, I'll take you out today, Jennifer. However, the agent is going to want to see the letter proof of funds. Some of them will require it before I even show the home. I would go with I want something from the bank. I can create a bank statement on my computer. Do you know that? I can create a proof of funds letter too. That's why I want it coming from the bank to me. Make sense? Market mechanics. Understand today's market. Best price home. It's a price war and a beauty contest out there. It's a price war and a beauty contest. Well-priced homes are selling fast. Focus on fear of loss. What does that mean? Harm's way. Harm's way. When I say harm's way, what does that mean, Tiffany? Fear of loss. Yeah. What does that mean? What is a fear of loss?
Your SCs, they're afraid of, if you don't write a contract on this one, somebody else is going to take it from you.
Yeah, and most buyers think that that's a piece of garbage, right? I love this. Well, if that happens, it wasn't meant to be. Okay? The thing is not get them to that point. And if you have stories, and that usually comes when they found the house they love, they're afraid to pull the trigger, right? And you say, you know what, I would say, you know what, Marlene, I don't want you to think I'm making this up. I can give you some names. Let me share about some clients I was working with, you know, where they did lose the house. I just want to make sure that I know if it's not meant to be or whatever it is it's saying already. See already, it went in, came out, forgot, erased. I didn't rewind the tape. Wasn't meant to be.
Wouldn't you requalify at that point and say, well, Bob, does that mean that you really don't love this house?
I'd requalify and say, oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you were ready to buy. I'd requalify that way. You want to know that. And you might ask the people up front at hello. Anna, when we get to contract, are you the type of person who can make the decision? Or are you going to be the type of person who needs to think about it?
I'll need to think about it a long time, and my husband will need to think a longer time.
Yeah, I can imagine. Wow. See, isn't that great information to have at hello as part of the buyer presentation? So as you're working with them now, if I know she needs to think about it and he's going to think even longer, the first person I'm working on is Art. I'm going to start working on the husband first if he has to think longer, because I need to bring him up to speed at least to Anna. When I get them both at the same spot, I'm going to nudge her this way. And then I got to come back over to Art and nudge. You know, it's just like, all right, I'm going to pick you up, move you over here. Oh, damn, I got to go get Art again. He keeps running away. Stay, Art. So you have to, you know, it is the fear of loss. It's in interest rates. People say, well, you know, I think the prices of houses will go lower. Okay, if they go lower, they're going to, we're in good markets, and most of our markets in this room, the markets are pretty good. What happens as the market starts picking up and selling? What happens to interest rates? They go up. So Jenny, you're okay waiting to buy a house because you think it's going to go down, and interest rates are going up. Are you okay with that?
Not really.
So we better do something now, right? You see, if you know your scripts, you can disarm any difficult buyer if you are a master of your scripts. You know, back in, when I got started with this and learning about buyer agency, now this was 1992. There was no law on buyer agency. Well, we hired a lawyer to create an exclusive buyer agency form in 1992. Think about that. And we only worked with buyers who signed this contract. And on this particular team, it was with Sharon and Joe. And this particular team, I put together the whole buyer presentation, and I did every single buyer presentation for that team. So I'd probably do about 200 buyer presentations a year. And of 200 buyer presentations, like that one year, 199 people signed a buyer contract. The one that didn't, I couldn't believe it was no relation, but his last name was Corcoran. I said, somewhere along the line we're related. He goes, well, that's why it really, no. He just went, I reached my hand out and I said, I'm sorry, can't help you. He goes, you mean you're not going to show us homes? No, we're not. And he walked out. And there are people all the time. Next. Now, there's no reason you can't get 100% of the people to sign. Because you do them, I always say buyer agency agreement should be no more than 90 days. You go, 90 days? Well, that's kind of quick, Bob. Every other agent in the market's doing it for 6 months or a year. My point of difference. I would say, you know, Karen, every other agent in the market's doing a buyer agency agreement for a year. And quite frankly, you're ready to buy now, aren't you? So that's why we only do ours for 90 days, because it'll cover us finding the home and the closing process, okay? You see how I'm showing my point of difference? If somebody won't sign a thing, well, I don't know you. Well, you know, Karen, we're scheduled to go out and look at homes today. Why don't we just do it for today? At the end of the day, then you can decide if you want to extend it. Is that fair?
Yes.
Excellent. Cross off the 90 days, put in today's date, have them initial it, I initial it. Make a copy, give them a copy. I take them out today. I show them houses. At the end of the day, I would say, well, Karen, we didn't write a contract. Well, Karen, we got a good picture of the market, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay, you want to get together tomorrow at the same time? I know there's a lot more that we saw that we'd like to see. Let's get together tomorrow at the same time?
Okay.
Excellent. You know, let's take care of this exclusive agency. Let's just go for the 90 days, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Put the 90 days back in. I initial it, hand her the pen, her initial it. Always schedule your next appointment before you get the extension, because they've already committed to working with you, haven't they? You see the timing of everything? You don't say, well, did you like me?
No, Bob.
Okay. Oh. Don't say, and you shouldn't say, well, let's extend this. Get the appointment, because once they get the appointment, they've agreed to work with you. Okay, I'll turn the heat up. Everybody in here looks like they're freezing. Is it cold in here?
Really cold. I felt like it was a
Yeah. What am I? Am I in ice?
Oh, no, you're on fire.
I'm on fire. I'm on fire. All right, the right questions. What's their motivation? The key questions. Okay, you learn about your buyer. And if they're renters, talk about the advantages of home ownership. It's in your buyer book also. Oops. Okay, you're a problem solver. You're a solution provider. You're the provider. You're a solution provider. You know, up it. Create the urgency. The urgency says, Becky, are you ready to buy a house today? See how simple it sounds? Becky, I'm excited to go out today and write a contract. What about you?
Yeah.
You notice in my scripts, anytime somebody has a lease, okay, that expires, what is my script I use all the time? Wow, we got a lot of work to do to get done. It's consistent, creates urgency. And what you're seeing is, well, I can go month to month. That's part of my motivation, isn't it? Do you want them to go month to month? No. Nah, you see, you know, Dottie, I'm so happy. I just want you to help start building equity for yourself. Isn't that what you want?
Yes, Bob.
I thought so.
How do you create urgency when there's a lot of short sales in your market?
Short sales.
So do I.
The thing with short sales are great buys. However, there's some agents, the listing agents, okay, don't know how to buy or list a short sale. We just closed on a short sale last week. And since we know how to look at what are the best deals out there, number one, you know what you look for if you want to work with a buyer doing short sales? Look for an agent who is incompetent at short sale listings. We happened to find one, okay? She listed the house, had been in the market for 223 days without a price reduction. The house was listed at $198,000. We offered $138,000. The bank countered, they owed $225,000 on it. The bank countered back at $178,000. We offered 145. The bank said, make your best offer. I went to 150 and they accepted. From looking at the house to close was 5 weeks. We had to get on the phone and instruct the other agent how to negotiate with the second lien holder. So get involved. If you do not have education about the short sale process, I highly recommend CDPE. Great course, good solid information on getting short sale information. CDPE.
Short sales are one of your best buyer closes, especially if you're prospecting, because most agents will not show them. So if you talk to somebody, if they don't have an agency sign and you have a short sale listing, use that as key to say, the agent you're working with, are they not showing you all the properties available, including short sales? And you can use that as your hook to get people away from agents that are not under agency. But the urgency piece is there are very few short sales on the market that are actually listed correctly, and they will go fast.
Right. And what you want to do is you have to make sure you are educating the buyer on buying, whether it's short sale or REO, because it's really about pleading for patience with that buyer. And so you must educate them. If someone says, I want to buy only, I will buy a foreclosure. Really, why? I can get a better deal. Great. Tell me, what do you know about the home buying process of a foreclosure home? Have the buyer tell you. Well, I can get a deal. Well, let me go into more detail for you. Because you need to know, do they have that patience level? Okay?
Well, they say they do, but then you're in the process and they don't anymore, and they're bugging you every 2 days.
That's exactly it. Karen?
You mentioned yesterday something about a script to people that say, if I could get out of my lease, I would buy sooner. Where can I find that information, that script?
If I get out of my lease, well, let me ask you, Karen, if I can get the seller to buy you out of your lease, are you ready to buy a house today?
Sure, if you can do that.
All it is it's money, isn't it? If a house is listed at $200,000, your lease was $1,000 a month, we're getting out 3 months early. House is listed at $200,000, you get it for $197. Didn't the seller just buy you out of your lease?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you will never, ever, ever as a buyer agent say to a buyer, well, why don't you break your lease? I hear agents say that. Imagine if I'm an investor. I own property. And if you said to me, well, did you think of breaking your lease? How am I going to feel? I'm PO'd at you. I am not working with you. What if my daughter, okay, you said that to my daughter. Well, I wouldn't be renting it, but if you said it to my daughter, well, would you break your lease? You think my daughter's going to share that with her dad? Oh, Dad, I found this great agent. Told me I could break my lease. Really? What's her name? Marlene. Marlene. Bob Corker, you're working with my daughter, Kelly. Hey.
Who?
Yeah. So two things you can do with renters. Number one, I would always instruct them. Number one, Karen, I would check with your landlord, because I am sure that your landlord can rent the home for more today than what you're paying. Somebody just had that happen. Somebody was renting a house, going to get out of a lease.
Oh, it was me last night.
Last night.
Yeah.
Where?
Because she said that they had bought.
The landlord had said
that if they could find someone to take over their lease.
Sublease that.
Yeah.
Okay, now there was something else where the landlord said, hey, you ever want to buy a house, feel free, okay, because I can rent your house more than what you're paying me. And that's happening a lot right now, because there's a lot of people looking for rentals and not a lot of rental property out there. So that's a hot script right now, that one. And then, if I have a buyer, okay, that on this $200,000 can't get out of his lease, if I say to Mrs. Seller, hey, this person loves your house, is willing to pay full price if you'll pay $3,000 to help them get out of their lease. How many sellers would say, well, full price here, pay $3,000, won't they take it? Okay, does that help you? Right. Excellent.